All right. Hi. Welcome to the May Adobe Video Meetup. This is a virtual event and it's part of a monthly series that includes product demos, conversations with the product teams, spotlights on the community, and the event is streamed on the last Wednesday of each month, like today. I'm Erica Schisler and I'm the product manager for Adobe Character Animator. And today it's all about animation. Today we're going to talk a bit about this new Adobe Character Animator starter mode. And the first thing you should know about starter mode is that it's free. It's free for everyone. You don't need to have Creative Cloud. All you need is an Adobe ID and it's free to you. And it's available right now in public beta. And our dear colleague Dave Warner is in the chat. He's helping to answer questions and he'll be posting how to get to that public beta. Starter mode is a streamlined mode of Character Animator. And it's really made to let anybody make quick character animations. So using your webcam and mic, you can record your face and your voice performance and then add various emotions and different actions through this super easy drag and drop interface. And our hope is that making animated shorts will never have been easier and that it'll be super fun and you don't need to have any experience to get started. Everybody can do this. So to show you how easy it is, I'm going to show you a quick video about starter mode. So let's roll that video.
Starter mode in Adobe Character Animator is a streamlined workflow enabling you to quickly create your own animations. Select a character from the home screen or import your own. You'll immediately see your character reacting to your face and voice in real time. You can start recording right away or import pre-recorded audio to perform against. Once you're ready, you can start recording your performance. And when you're done, click the Finish Recording button. Now you can preview additional actions and emotions your character can have simply by hovering over them, giving a quick sense of your character's further animated possibilities. Simply drag any emotion trigger into your timeline to add it to your creation. When selected, the trigger can be expanded or trimmed, giving you full control over the final timing. You also have the ability to change the background image or adjust the formatting to better fit social media destinations. When you're happy with your animation, click the share icon and export out your final video. Within a matter of minutes, anyone can create a compelling, professional-looking animation and have fun doing it.
Cool, right? So while working on starter mode, we were also searching for creative ways to test the application and to try it out and see what we could do with it. And at the heart of every great animation is a really wonderful story. And we heard about this amazing organization called Story Pirates and a volunteer program that they have called Story Love. So we're going to run a quick video just to tell you what Story Pirates is, and then I'd like to introduce you to their founder and CEO. So let's roll that video. What is a story pirate?
Now, what exactly is a story pirate?
The Story Pirates take stories and ideas written by kids and turn them into sketch comedy and songs. And now, a TV show.
What an awesome program. So I want to introduce everyone to the Story Pirates founder and CEO, Jamie Sokol. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. Great to be here, Erica.
It's really wonderful to have you here. I would love to hear about what inspired you to start something like Story Pirates. And maybe tell us a little bit more about Story Pirates.
So we started Story Pirates in 2004 in the tiny 60-seat basement theater of the Drama Bookshop in Midtown Manhattan. It was co-produced by a company called Backhouse, which was run by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Tommy Kail, who were totally unknown at the time and were writing in the Heights on the same piano where we were doing Story Pirates. It was started by a group of my friends, mostly Northwestern graduates who had moved to New York. It was a group of really amazing comedians who most of whom have grown up in privileged backgrounds where we got incredible arts-rich educations. And I was personally teaching in a public school where kids were not getting the same kind of education that I'd gotten. And Story Pirates was a way of trying to create really powerful experiences that honored kids' own creativity, sort of honored kids as creative geniuses.
That's wonderful. I can see just in that what is Story Pirates video that lots of Adobe products were probably used. I think I'm seeing Photoshop and After Effects, but I also know that your team sometimes uses Character Animator on a few different projects. And in our last video meetup where we talked about animation, we specifically talked about music videos. And there's this fabulous music video created by Story Pirates team from one of the stories. And I thought we'd take a look at just a clip. We're not going to show the whole thing, but it's called The Strawberry Band. Again, in the chat, there'll be a link. So if you want to see the whole music video, you can. But let's take a look at this clip from The Strawberry Band, and then you can tell us a little bit more about it.
For the benefit of everyone that hears my call, there's gonna be a show at the concert hall. They play the best skiffle, rock, rhythm, and blues. And whenever they play, they turn into food. Come out and see the Strawberry Band. We're actually human for most of the day, but we become berries whenever we play. The sweetest melodies, the juiciest riffs. You've never heard a band with flavor like this. Come out and see the Strawberry Band.
So cool. So Jamie, what can you tell me about what was the story that inspired that music video?
So everything that the Story Pirates create is based on a story written by a real kid and adapted by the Story Pirates. The Story Pirates are a group of comedians, musicians, designers, New York Times bestselling authors. Basically, we source ideas from kids themselves. Kids send us their stories. We get tens of thousands per year, and then we turn them into all this amazing stuff. So that's a music video that was adapted from the titular song of one of our albums. And it was written by a kid named Nathaniel from California. A 5-year-old kid sent us in his story. And our team of musicians and designers took a look at that story and thought to themselves, I think that there's some really interesting sort of, Sgt. Pepper's-esque sort of sensibility to this thing. And so our, Brendan O'Grady, one of our incredible composers, decided to have a little bit of fun with it and do it in the style of a Beatles song. So, and then it turned out that the kid Nathaniel and his dad were obsessed with music. That's the way that they relate to each other and bond. And it was a sort of particular cool part of this thing that the Beatles is a band that they really love.
Oh, that's so great. So I do want to point out, in case anybody's wondering, well, wait, how is Character Animator used? Well, those clay mouths, those are the automatic lip sync and Character Animator, and those clay mouths were used. And the clay mouths are available for free. Any of you can use them if you're interested in trying them out, making your own music video or something else. There'll be a link in the chat for where you can get free puppets, and the mouse shapes are one of those puppets. And by the way, those were made by somebody on the Character Animator team. Now, I know there's another really important character that's part of the Story Pirate world, and he's a DJ, but he's also a worm. Can you tell us a little bit about DJ Squirmalot?
So DJ Squirmalot is a fan favorite character from the Story Pirates podcast. The Story Pirates podcast is one of the top podcasts for kids. We've gotten about 50 million downloads in the last 4 years. And when the pandemic happened, so much of the work that the Story Pirates did at that time was live in-person events. We did a lot of work in schools, thousands of events each year in elementary schools in New York and Los Angeles, and a national tour that visited theaters all over the country. And so when all of that went away, we turned to sort of the virtual universe to try to create events, but it was really important to us to create events that felt live, that sort of had a theatrical element, that felt like the kids could really interact with us in real time, that it wasn't just sort of pre-recorded content. And Character Animator allowed us to animate DJ Squirmalot so that the Story Pirate that does the voice for DJ Squirmalot was able to take questions from kids in Zoom in real time. And it's like an incredible magic trick to get to watch animation come to life in a way that is happening on the spot, like right before your very eyes. So I think we get to play a little bit of a clip. This clip is from this New Year's Eve bash that we threw in the midst of the pandemic, I think at the end of 2020. Where we had 1,500 kids from all over the country come to sort of have a big party with DJ Squirmalot and get to ask him questions.
That's so cool. All right, yeah, let's see this clip of DJ Squirmalot.
What up, squirmy wormies? It's your worm, DJ Squirmalot, the greatest DJ who is also a worm. And as you know, I throw the greatest parties ever. And this year, I'm throwing my New Year's Eve bash on the moon. That's right, you heard me correctly, on the moon, where we can launch a fireworks show so big that the whole Earth will see it. Plus, Yorma, the ice dragon, my arch nemesis, will never find me on the moon, which means we can party all night. Pew, 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 pew.
Now, I love DJ Squirmalot. And I did, we're not getting to see him live. That's the recording, right? The real magic is in that live event. But I do want to give a shout out to Character Animator team member Dan Ramirez. He was the person that helped Story Pirates get going, turning DJ Squirmalot into that first live event. And if you're interested in that magic of a live animated character, there's a link to a tutorial. Or you can, if ever you're interested in tutorials, just look for OK Samurai on YouTube and you can find all kinds of tutorials, but you could try having your own live event too. So the Character Animator team got really excited to participate in something called Story Love. This was that thing we were looking for. Like, how do we try out this new starter mode, and how do we know that it's sort of doing what we hope it would do? And so recently, about 9 of us, we're a pretty small team, we used starter mode to create animated Story Love feedback. But before I talk more about that, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what Story Love is, Jamie?
Sure. So, I was mentioning before, Story Pirates gets about, 10, 15,000 stories each year submitted by kids all over the world. And it's a really important part of our program that while some of those stories get turned into a song on our podcast or, get adapted into a full-length novel by a New York Times bestselling author, or it gets put on our PBS show, SPTV, we can't put all 15,000 of those story submissions in one of those mediums. But we want every kid to know that Story Pirates is not a writing contest. We're not picking winners or losers. We want every single kid to know that we got their story, we read it, and we love it. And so the way that we've figured out how to do that, to communicate that to kids, is to write a thorough, thoughtful, positive response on every single one of those stories before we send them back to the kids. And it's a colossal task. It's more than we can take on our own. And so we've partnered with some amazing companies, including Adobe. We have a really rich partnership with Adobe to do Story Love, where volunteers from Adobe help us out and read these kids' stories and write notes on them.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of volunteers at Adobe who've done just that. They've read stories and written the notes, but the Character Animator team heard about it and we were like, well, could we send an animated message? And so that's what we did. We got together, we used the new starter mode to create animated Story Love feedback. And in just one day, 9 of us created 23 animated videos. And so we were pretty excited about that. We thought that was pretty cool. And we wanted to expand it and see how it goes as we work with more people. So we asked our colleagues, product managers, program managers, marketing managers that work in the video group, if they would try it. And about 20 of them volunteered. And in just 3 days, they made 62 animated Story Love videos. It was really impressive. Many of them had never animated before, or they'd never used Character Animator before. And so starter mode was what made that possible. So what we'd like to do now is just show a couple of those videos. We can't show all 62 of them or anything like that, but we have a couple that we're going to show. And the first story is about an elephant. And Jamie, I don't know if you want to sort of cue up, like, what was the story about? And then maybe the Story Love response will make more sense.
So this was a story called How the Boy Turned into an Elephant, and it's about how the boy turned into an elephant by a 7-year-old named Oliver from Maine.
Awesome. So let's play the Story Love Elephant video, and this was created by our colleague Sear Less.
Oliver from Maine. It's me over at Story Pirates. Hope it's getting warm up there. And I hope you weren't writing from personal experience with this story, because I gotta think your mom would be none too pleased to find an elephant in her kitchen. I know mine wouldn't. Listen, this was the funniest thing that I've read in a long time, and I read a lot of things, most of them not funny, but this was really funny. I could see what was happening to the character, even with just dialogue, and I laughed along with them at the absurdity of the situations. But that made me wonder what people were doing when these hilarious events transpired. Was Kevin's mom shocked? Did the wizard laugh? And most of all, what does it feel like to become an elephant? I'd really like to know, so if you've got some thoughts, please share those. I'd be so interested to see these descriptions come together with the dialogue, and I can't wait to read more of this story. So let us know how it goes and how you get an elephant out of the house. I'm assuming you get him out of the house. If not, how do you stay with an elephant in the house? Anyway, thanks for letting me read it. I look forward to more. Love, the Story Pirates.
Right, that's so fun. It's such a funny story. We have one more Story Love video we're going to show. Jamie, if you want to tell folks a little bit about Chick Kid.
So Chick Kid is by 2 kids named Elliot and Wesley from North Carolina. I believe Elliot is 8 and Wesley is 5. And it is about I believe it's about a boy who lays an egg.
All right. So let's go ahead and roll the Chick Kid Story Love, and we can talk a little bit more because there's some fun, there's a little bit of fun at the very end of it.
Hey Elliot and Wesley, I just finished reading your story, Chick Kid, and it's super clever. Starting with the title, Chick Kid, about a kid who becomes a chicken. I get it. Your details and vocabulary are great, especially using the word transformed as he turned into a chicken. But the big surprise was the song that Wesley wrote at the end. I wonder if it goes something like this. There was a chicken, there was a chicken, there was a chicken who wanted to see the world. There was a chicken, there was a chicken, there was a chicken who wanted to see the world. Oh man, you two are unstoppable. Keep writing songs and stories. Love the Story Pirates.
That Story Love video was made by Dan McSweeney, works at Adobe. And I just have to say, the song has gotten in my head. I had it in my head all this morning. I couldn't get it out. It was making me crazy. But I love it. It's super sweet. None of us expected that somebody would sing a song at the end of one of their Story Loves. So that was pretty amazing. Jamie, what was the reaction like, to getting a Story Love video instead of a note? What kinds of reaction did parents and writers have?
I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I remember almost every nice piece of feedback or every compliment that a teacher or a parent or any grown up gave me. And the results, the responses we get from Story Love are amazing. We get videos of kids crying. We get videos of kids screaming and cheering because the Story Parrot sent them a letter. I'll just read one note here that we got recently. Madeline says, another big thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time to respond in such a fantastic way. This was a video that she received from Adobe. Thanks for being such a lovely and hilarious promoter of creative writing and performing. You are a regular part of our lives and have definitely influenced them for the better. So there's just a genuine appreciation for, like we live in a world that can often feel really impersonal. And this is a really personal response that we're providing to thousands and thousands and thousands of kids with a lot of help from Adobe.
Yeah, that's so cool. I want to mention too that Adobe employees who participated in this sent so much great feedback about how wonderful it was to take out an hour or two of their week to do some volunteering, that it was the highlight of their week, for some people their month or their quarter. It was fun. It was fun to read kids' stories. It was fun to try something new, but it was also just felt good to be giving back. So, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, taking some time out, using those skills, whether it's your animation skills or some design skills or whatever you have, writing skills, and spending a little bit of time volunteering. Wow, what a difference it makes, especially over the last couple of years. So thanks from us to you for that opportunity.
And thanks to Character Animator, which really makes incredibly sophisticated animation tools accessible by lay people to be able to make something that I think would be so mind-blowing for a kid.
That's what we really hope. So, great storytelling, like I said earlier, is sort of the bedrock of so much of what we do every day. Even if we're not comedians or those New York Times bestselling writers or whatever, we're always having to tell stories, whatever sort of role we're in, whatever we're doing. And you guys do all this amazing work at Story Pirates, but we never really know where our writing and creative skills might take us. And I recently had the pleasure of becoming acquainted with an Adobe colleague named Emily Cohen. And Emily's a technical writer. But like so many of us, she's branching out and she has to wear lots of different hats, and she needs to find new creative ways to get her information out there and try to get people to pay attention to it. And even more interesting, Emily works in our security department. And probably this is not the place where most of us think of a lot of creativity or a bunch of great storytelling, but that's kind of exactly what's needed to happen to get people to pay attention to the message. And so, as you might imagine, we can't really show a lot of Emily's videos, right? Because remember, she works in security. But we're gonna show a couple clips, and this first clip is a little PSA about security. So let's roll Emily's first clip.
This is a public service announcement from your friendly Adobe security team. Hey, you know those emails that Adobe Security has been sending you? Yeah, we thought so. Okay. Quick quiz. What does PCL stand for? And I'll give you a hint. It's not pre-cooked lentils. Next question.
So welcome, Emily. I'm so glad you're here. I love seeing that video. It was so much fun, even though I still maybe don't exactly know what PLC is, PCL is. That's okay. I'll figure it out. You'll send me a video and I'll figure it out. So I love that you're doing this work, and I'd love to hear more about, a little bit about what got you started animating, but why character animation? Like you could have done a talking head, or you could have maybe done some motion graphics or something like that. Tell me about why animation?
Okay, well, first, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. Characters, animation makes things much more approachable. And as you mentioned, some of the things that we do in security are pretty dry. And also we, send a lot of emails and people just delete them. So, but these things are important. A lot of the initiatives are, internal, and we really want people to pay attention. So, I came up with this idea. We had a new initiative, and I said, let's try something new. Let's do this. So I recruited one of our fun sales guys to do the voiceover, and I found a character that I thought would be approachable for engineers, and we put it out there, and we're actually in the process of doing our second one in this series to see, and then we're going to see how it works out. But so far the reaction's been positive. People are watching it versus all the emails or blog posts they have to read.
Cool. Well, let's you've got another video I'd like to show, and this is about Jane and Jane's code. So and this is I think a common thing that happens at Adobe for those working in development. So let's see that second animation.
It is Monday morning, and Jane, a developer at Adobe, is incredibly excited as she just pushed the button to deploy her code to production. Yes! But wait, why is she so unhappy when she comes in on Tuesday? Her inbox is filled with Jira notifications telling her about security tickets that need to be fixed in production. Why didn't our security tooling tell her this earlier? Every developer at Adobe knows this feeling, but what if they didn't have to?
So, that's so fun, and it's just so spot on, right? So I know you mentioned just before we showed it that there's been a positive response, but I wonder if you could just talk a little bit more about, like, what's the reaction to seeing these messages in video, to seeing animation, and do you feel like that's making a difference?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, what's interesting is that, initially people were surprised, right? They're like, whoa, we were expecting a talking head, like you said. So people are really retaining the information a little bit more because they pay attention, and there's humor in it. And that always makes people remember things better.
Yeah. Well, so that kind of leads in, I've got this, it's sort of a two-part question for both of you. I'm wondering if either one of you want to just talk about, like, why storytelling is so important, but also why is it important to try, like, new storytelling tools or different avenues of getting a message out? Why is having these different mediums so important to what you do?
I think for me, the answer is because it's awesome. I think that storytelling is a basic sort of human driver. It's the way that we think and communicate. It's the way that we relate to one another and retain information. And, kids today are growing up in an environment where there's video games and there's Roblox, and, the visual images that they're used to are really sophisticated and really exciting. And for us, it's a way of sort of meeting kids where they are and letting, kids know that their ideas are so exciting to us and so important to us that we want to honor them by putting our own sort of, time and talent and effort into it. And for us, character animators sort of makes a big difference in terms of just the level of artistry we can bring to what we give to kids.
And for adults, which is, my audience, I think, there's such information overload in so many different ways. But I'd rather have our engineers watching these videos than, wasting half an hour on cat videos, because we know they're doing that. So this is a way to, again, meet them where they are. Hey, maybe, they've got 10 minutes and they just need a break. This is a way to get information to them that's in a fun and refreshing way.
Yeah. When I think about this myself, I think of two things. One is everybody likes to tell their stories in different ways. Like, some people are great writers, but some people are great talkers, right? And some people are great at drawing. Everybody's got sort of the thing that they're really good at. But similarly, we all like to consume things differently. So it's great to have these different ways, like whether it's music or whether it's animation, something like that. So I can't believe that our time is almost up. I'm going to check to see if there's any questions for us, but there's something that I want to announce before we go. And it's all around the storytelling and getting everybody telling their stories, getting everybody animating, and letting everybody know that I know there's these moments where you think, oh, I can't animate, or I tried and it didn't really work, and I'm so busy. But we really want to make it possible for anybody to animate. And so with that in mind, we're announcing a fun giveaway. So we want you to go try Adobe Character Animator Starter Mode in the public beta, and there's info about how you can do that. And then make an animation with it and show us your creations by posting on either Facebook or Twitter with the hashtag Character Animator Submission. And by doing this, you basically enter a chance to win a 6-month complimentary subscription to Creative Cloud. All the submissions are due by June 24th. And remember, you don't need any experience. You don't have to have ever tried this before. Just check it out, try it today. Tell us what you think. Tell us your story. We're excited to hear it. And we're also going to do a fun new volunteer event with Adobe Seattle, and that starts next week too. And Jamie, I just want to go back to you for a second. If there's a company out there that's interested in participating in StoryLove, how do they get started?
They can just reach out to us at storypirates.org, or they can email info@storypirates.org and say, hey, I'm with such and such company. We'd love to get involved, and we'll get right back to you.
Okay, cool. And Emily, any advice you have for somebody who's never animated before, but they want to get started, what would you tell them?
I would just tell them, just try starter mode. It is the easiest thing that I've ever used in terms of Adobe products. I mean, I had to teach myself Premiere Pro, and I taught myself straight up Character Animator, but when you showed me starter mode, it was like, woo, everything just kind of opened up. The hard parts are done for you. So all you have to do is get somebody with a great voice and a fun story that you want to relate, and then just drag and drop all the triggers in, and you have a really different way of communicating. So give it a try.
That's so cool. I hear that there's been lots of likes and hearts in Facebook for our talk today. Thank everybody who's tuned in and watched. And I really want to thank Jamie and Emily and everybody also at Story Pirates. Such an amazing team. Thank you guys for being here. I hope everybody tunes in next month. Remember that the Adobe Video Meetups happen every month on the last Wednesday of the month. But I also want to mention it'll be me again in animation in August. And I think we're going to do something fun around clay animation. So I hope you tune in for that too. So thanks again. Thanks, Emily. And thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you.